Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about inaction is irresistibly attractive, and here's why. So why is inaction really attractive, and why do women actually find that so attractive, right? Now, if you're dealing with a woman who's, extremely beautiful, right? Someone who obviously gets a lot of attention from guys. If you're dealing with that kind of woman, then she's definitely got a lot of guys in her DMs talking to her, right? Trying to chat her up, trying to get her out on a date, trying to get her into a relationship with them, maybe even trying to marry her, right? Right, things like that, okay? And what you got to realize is if you're doing the opposite of that, if you're not taking much action, if let's say you're only asking her out once a week, right? What that is showing to her, right, is that you are different, right? You're not falling at her feet, and you're actually being strong, and that is really attractive to a woman, right? If she can see you being strong, basically having that self-restraint, right? Because a lot of the guys that she may come into contact with probably don't have that self-restraint, and they are falling for her really fast, and they're getting really needy and constantly messaging her, trying to call her up, trying to get her attention, right? And she can sense that, right? She can tell, right? So inaction is really, really irresistibly attractive, especially when you are dating, especially those first initial stages of dating, right? When perhaps you're not 100% sure where you stand with her, right? Because typically, you ask a woman once a week, and then after a few dates, maybe like 2 to 3 dates, that's when she starts reaching out to you a bit more. And that's how you know, basically, if she is starting to fall in love with you and she's starting to get more attraction for you, right? But with some women, though, some women that you may meet, there may be instant attraction, and you don't actually have to do that much, right? Because maybe she's like heavily pursuing you because she really, really likes you. And it's always amazing when you find a woman like that, because then you don't actually have to do much, right? Because they're the one that's initiating things with you and moving things forward. But sometimes you may be dealing with a woman that really, really likes you, but she might actually be shy and introverted, right? So if you're dealing with a woman that's shy and introverted, basically what they just need more time with you, right? They need more time hanging out with you to feel comfortable, right? Because for whatever reason, if they're shy and they're feeling uncomfortable, and they're acting like that, then and they're introverted, then they need that time. They need more time with you so they can start being themselves more, right? Because once she starts being herself and she lets her guard down, then she's going to want to be around you a lot more, and she's going to, be herself more, right? Because I found this with my wife. Like when I met my wife, she was very, very shy, right? And I knew that she liked me, but it took a couple of dates at least for me to warm her up to me, right? So not necessarily because she didn't like me, but because she was shy. And with shy women, typically they're more withdrawn, right? So it's about getting her out of her shell and encouraging her out of her shell, right? And letting her know that this is fine, this is safe, right? And we're just gonna have some fun. We're just gonna laugh together and have a good time. Just gonna banter, and that's what I did. I was my normal sort of goofy self, and because I was being myself and I was being goofy and just having a laugh, then it gave her the permission to do the same, right? And then she realized that she didn't have to act a certain way. She could be herself too, right? So that's one of the best ways you can get a shy woman to be more attracted to you and to get her out of her shell, is by being yourself, right? By being fun, by being playful, by being happy, right? And letting her know, basically subtly, that it's okay for her to do the same and to let her guard down. Because if your guard's down and you're just acting yourself and you're not being shy as well, right? It just helps the other person to open up more who is shy. Because I'm typically a lot more shyer than most people. Well, not most people, but when it comes to shy people, I'm definitely in that category too. But because I knew about dating and attraction by that point, I knew what I had to do to help her be herself around me, right? And it's just like a really kind thing to do. You got to see it as that, right? You got to see it as, I'm helping this person be themselves around me, right? By being myself. And that's one of the best things you can do, because it's really easy. All you have to do is just show up and be yourself. And the person who is shy will automatically start doing the same around you, right? So that's something else to consider as well. Okay. So how can you do this then? How can you look like you are taking, what does inaction look like in the dating stages? So inaction in the dating stages looks like not messaging too much, basically, and contacting her too much. Because if you're trying to make her more attracted to you by inaction, then you have to do a lot less than perhaps the other guys or girls might be doing, right? So what you got to do then is you've got to message less, right? Now, it may be the case that she messages you and she's like, hey, how are you? And that's great. You can do that. And if you've got a date lined up, you can have a little conversation back and forth, like just a tiny one, and then end the conversation and say, okay, I've got to go, but, I really can't wait to see you on Sunday or Saturday or Monday night, whenever you've set up your date, right? So, and it's a really good sign as well if she starts reaching out to you, right? If she starts reaching out to you, that means that she is maybe a bit worried about where you guys stand or where she stands with you. Perhaps she's worried that you've forgotten about the date. And that's something that I noticed with my wife. Like when I met, I think it was like the second date I had with my wife, she messaged me the day before because she hadn't seen the day before the date, because she hadn't heard from me in a while, right? And she said, oh, I'm just messaging to make sure that we're still on for tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, of course we're still on for tomorrow. Can't wait. Basically, I said something like that. So, and it showed to me that the anticipation was building, and she was getting worried that I wasn't going to show up because she really wanted to see me, you see, right? So that's what you got to do. You got to take a few days to, before you message and things like that. Just take your time with it, right? You don't have to be in each other's DMs every single moment of every single day, right? In fact, that will do the opposite of what you want. It's going to actually make them less attracted to you, right? What's going to make them more attracted to you is if you message sparingly, right? And maybe even wait for them to initiate with you a lot of the time, right? So it's about just spreading things out. And also it's a good idea to actually look at your phone and like check correspondence that you've had with girls in the past that you may have liked, or even the girl in question right now if you've got a specific one on your mind, right? And see who sends the longer messages, who's the one that's initiating the conversation, right? Who sends the messages most frequently. And if it's you, then you need to cut back a lot, okay? You need to you need to be doing less than what she is, right? So don't be sending paragraphs, don't be sending message after message after message, things like that, because it gets boring real quick. It's best to just have some cool down time after a date or after that first message, and just don't respond for a while, right? Sometimes you may have to do that too. So if it's a situation where where a woman's actually lost attraction for you or lost some attraction for you, right? By doing inaction, by messaging less, by not arranging to meet up with her as much, right? What that will do is that will cause her attraction for you to rise if she still has attraction for you, and it will cause her to reach out to you, because what will happen is if she feels like you're not messaging as much, or you're not contacting her as much, not arranging to meet up as much, right? Then she's going to be like, oh, what's happening there? She might fear losing you. And it's actually a good way to tell, basically, if a girl, is still interested in you. So, for example, let's say you ask her out and, you ask her when she's available to hang out with you, but you don't get a response, right? The best thing to do is not to send her another message like a day or so later. The best thing to do is like, okay, well, I'm just going to leave it. I asked her a question, right? She hasn't responded to me. She obviously got the message. So if she cares about me, if she has feelings for me, right, and she has attraction for me in some kind of form, then she's going to eventually reply to me, and I've just got to wait it out, because I don't know what's going on with her life, right? I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know if maybe she's lost attraction for me. I don't know if she's going through a rough time right now. So it's best for me to just back off, right? If you've already sent her a message and you haven't got a response, do not send another message. Give her time to respond, right? Especially if your last message to her was a question like, when are you free to hang out, or something like that, right? So that's another thing that you got to take into consideration too, and that will make her more attracted to you, right? Because if she hasn't heard from you, right, and you haven't continued to message her and you've given her space, she'll be like, oh, I wonder what happened to Craig, or I wonder what happened to Dave, right? And then she'll look through her messages and be like, oh, there he is. Oh yeah, he asked me this. Okay, I'm gonna respond now, right? So it's one of those things, okay? So basically, what you've got to display as well is that you're the same person with or without her, right? So no matter what she does, so if she loses attraction for you, or if she just doesn't want to be seeing you as much anymore, right? if that's what's going on, right, then you've got to not react to that. Okay, you can't just be like, okay, I'm going to start messaging her because she's behaving this way and I don't like it. You can't have that attitude, right? Or like the attitude of, oh yeah, I'm gonna destroy her ego by saying this and stuff like that. It's like, no, just leave it, right? Just leave it, okay? And just continue on, because you don't want to react, because even if you react like in a way that you think that you're getting one up on her, you're still reacting, right? And it just shows that it's bothering you. Even if the words that you're saying implies that it's not bothering you, the fact that you're reacting to it, right, reacting to her inaction, right, is showing that it's bothering you. Even if you might react sadly, you might react in a different kind of way, you might react angrily. Either way, it's showing that it's bothering you. But what you've got to do to make this woman more attracted to you is you've got to show her that it doesn't matter what she does, right? It doesn't matter what she does, you're still going to be the same person with or without her. You're still going to continue on as you have always done and continue to have a good time and enjoy your life with or without her, okay? It's almost like no matter what she does, no matter what she says, it just doesn't faze you. And it also doesn't cause you to chase or to get angry or butthurt about it, right? No matter what she does, you are still you and you're not going to change. You're not, if she loses all interest in you, then you just like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm just going to find someone who's not going to lose interest in me. I'm going to find another woman who actually does want to be with me, who does like me in the way that I feel like I deserve. Right? And that's the attitude that you've got to have. And you've got to have this like non-attached attitude towards the women in your life who come in and sometimes leave out of disinterest or they lose attraction for you, whatever it may be. You've got to not let that bother you, and you've got to use inaction, right? You can't be DMing them, you can't be messaging them. Like, if you want to reattract them, the best thing that you can do is to do the no contact rule. The best thing you can do is inaction, right? Because that's the only thing that's going to help resolve the situation and make her miss you. You will not make a woman miss you if you're always in her DMs, and you certainly won't make her attracted to you. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.